What is going on, FT3000? Back in the place to be, and welcome to Artery Gear Fusion. This is Artery Gear Fusion, ladies and gentlemen. AGF, if you will. This is the game right over here. All right, brand new, oh my God, brand new hero collector that just came out yesterday. Let's go ahead and jump on into combat to see if this game lives up to all of the hype and expectations that came before it. So jumping into combat here in Artery Gear Fusion, you can bring 4 characters to combat. Those characters are comprised of 3 element types: red, blue, and green. There are no light and dark in this game. You can also bring support units, which I'll touch on as we jump into combat. Now, as far as combat goes here in Artery Gear Fusion, very typical turn-based JRPG style combat system, also kind of reminiscent to Epic 7, where certain characters have 3 skills, other characters have 2 skills and a passive, but a ton of variety when it comes to the skill kits, right? So if you're a fan of like building really creative teams, like if you want to build a burn team or a debuff team or a speed team, things like that, there is a lot to offer here in Artery Gear Fusion when it comes to just the sheer variety of characters in different rarities, right? Not just the top rarity characters. Low rarity characters have uses in this game as well. So for all the fans out there that just absolutely love team building, Artery Gear Fusion has quite to offer in that regard. And all of that potential creativity when it comes to skill building lends itself extremely well to this game's auto combat system, because this game has the most customizable autoplay in gacha game history, all right? So let's take a look at some of the logic that you can apply to the autoplay here in Artery Gear Fusion. So this is Morris, this is my healer. I can tell the game exactly which order I want her skills to be used. I can also add conditions as well. So I can say, you know what, I don't want her to heal unless people are lower than 60% HP or 40%. I can also dictate some of this logic based on the enemy status as well. So this character, for example, does more damage the more debuffs a target has. So I can prioritize the target which has the most debuffs. So there is quite a bit of potential customization when using the system. You can open it up at any time in combat. This on-the-fly customization also applies to your support skills as well. So anytime during combat, if I need more DPS, I can switch to artillery support, or if I want some stats, I can go to air support. If I want to be a little bit more defensive, I can go to equipment deployment support. You guys don't know what this is, but I'll show you here in a second. You can also activate skills to only apply on boss encounters, and in addition to that, you can also tell the game, do you want to fight the boss first, or do you want to clear out the ads first? Now, as nice as all of that autoplay customization is, it does come in place of other things such as skip functionality. So this game does not have any sort of skip functionality in the game. So this will be one of those games where you're kind of auto repeating games, whether online or offline. Yes, the game does have an offline auto repeat, and I kind of understand why they did it. This game is more reminiscent to games like Summoner's War, Dislight, Ace, Raid Shadow Legends, where part of the fun, part of the meta is trying to build the most efficient and speedy farm teams as possible, and you kind of lose that if you have skip functionality. So, you know, that's kind of up to you whether that's a deal breaker or not, but this is going to be one of those types of games where, you know, you build up a bunch of stamina, you auto repeat it in a second monitor on your screen, or you auto repeat it, close the game, and come back later. And yes, I do see the elephant in the room. How can I miss it? It's not even hiding in the corner. It's like literally sitting on my desk. So, okay, for all the people out there that don't like chibi character models, myself included, all right? I'm not a fan of chibi models. Instead, I have never seen an example where a game had like adult models and someone was like, you know what would make this game better? If all of these adult character models were chibi instead. Nobody has ever said that in the history of gachadom, all right? Chibi models have never made a game better. I agree. But I would also say look beyond the character models. There is a lot to like about this graphic style. The screen filling ultimates, the backgrounds, the crazy attacks, spell effects, all of the particles shooting all over the screen, a real sense of impact. Like some of the abilities in this game are just absolutely insane. And like all the while the characters like talking trash with voice acting, the screen is shaking. Like some of these abilities in this game are just insane. So in short, I agree with most of you guys out there. I am not a fan of chibi or quasi-chibi character models, but I think as a package, as a graphical package, the game is still one of the better looking gacha games in spite of the chibi models. Imagine this game at full power. Well, you don't have to imagine because it's not gonna happen. Now, when it comes to gameplay modes, there is of course a story-based campaign with normal as well as hard difficulty. When it comes to like the overall story and the writing, the game does have some translation issues, so hopefully if this game gets more popular, they can continue to work on the localization. Now, outside of the main story gameplay mode, you do of course have the tried and true daily resource grind for EXP, gold, etc. Do keep in mind this game also has some idle functionality, so you can also get EXP and gold while you're offline. Now, these gameplay modes right here is where you're gonna spend a majority of your time, starting off with data collection. Now, this is gonna be your very typical elemental specific dungeon runs where you defeat these stages and you get upgrade materials for your characters, and then you can turn around and use those upgrade materials to upgrade passive stats on your characters. The game also has a fusion system, so if you have a lot of low tier materials, you can upgrade them to higher tier. I don't see if you can go backwards the other way, but hopefully that doesn't become a problem. And then of course, everyone's favorite gameplay mode in games like this, the gear grind bosses. You got 4 different bosses, 3 different element types, and all of these bosses drop different types of 4-piece and 2-piece set bonus gear. You're talking attack, defense, HP, crit, things like that. Now, luckily, the game does have a feature that makes grinding for all of these RNG substats a little less soul-crushing, right? So you can transfer substats in between gear. Now, do keep in mind that it's all or nothing. Let me give you guys a live example. So if I want to transfer crit damage, crit, and HP, all percentage-based stats, onto this gun over here, I can put it in the system, hit start transfer, and all of those substats will go and transfer to the new piece of gear. So that makes it so that you're at the mercy of RNG just slightly less. Now, beyond all that gear grinding, we have 2 gameplay modes that are season based. So Mutation Waypoint is every 7 days and Lava Rift is once a month. And this is very straightforward. It's basically an endless tower. There's 100 floors. You do this once per month and every single floor has rewards. The rewards don't look that good for how much time you're gonna spend doing this, so hopefully some quality of life is added to some of these gameplay modes in the future. I can already see that being a little tedious. And then you have Mutation Waypoint, which is kind of the same idea. Once again, this is every 7 days, but in this gameplay mode, there are boosted characters that will allow you to go through these stages a little bit easier. And this gameplay mode actually has a shop tied to it, so as you clear it, you can turn around, go into the shop, and buy even more upgrade materials. Now, beyond that, there is another gameplay mode that unlocks on chapter 610. There is a time-limited event going on right now that I will show you in a separate video. Also, lastly, guilds unlock at level 30. I'm only 24, so I'll show you that in the future as well. And then of course, what game would be complete without some good old-fashioned PvP? So far I've been playing this gameplay mode completely on manual gameplay mode, but I'm very curious to see how I can kind of create teams using the skill config system to maybe take that to another level here. Now, one thing that threw me off, you want to attack the ones that say strong, not the ones that say weak. The ones that you're weak against, you are actually weak against. Like, sometimes it's confusing. Like, are they gonna be weak against my attack? Are they gonna be strong to one of my attacks? Is the other way around? So that's how it works in this game. Let's go ahead. Dude, you guys are destroying me already. You have a buff, and Benny is really good at stripping buffs. Really like her. This is the character that I pulled out of my 5-star infinite reroll. Within 2 minutes of installing this game, you will have an infinite reroll. And as of today, there's a 10 pool waiting for you in your mailbox as well, which we'll be taking a look at here a little bit later on in the video. Dude, am I gonna lose in PvP already? I'm level 24, this guy's level 32. What you want me to do? All right, I'm gonna use Alice to reset your turn here, or give me a bonus turn, basically. And then you only have like 1 debuff on you. Like, the more debuffs you have, the more damage she does. That's gonna be a complete overkill, but at least I can get her off the board here. And then once again, strong. So the real cool thing about Alice, like I mentioned, she gives you a bonus turn. So you still get the turn that you were going to get anyway, but now you have a bonus turn, which is pretty nice. Let's go ahead and give you nice little heal, top you off there, cooldown reduction as well. I think we should be able to defeat this. I do like the fact the game does have a nice little bit of quality of life here. So all you gotta do is tap the enemy and the game will do your basic attack. You'll love to see that. I should have killed you though. It'd be funny if I'd have died right there. I wouldn't have laughed though, but that's PvP. And of course, as you guys might expect, PvP also has a shop tied to it as well. And lastly, before we end this video off with a nice little summon session, this is basically your housing system here. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, the game does have some idle functionality. So while you're offline, you recruit gold and EXP. You can also do some tried and true dispatch missions. Send your units out on the mission, they come back with some goodies. I already showed you the science vessel without you guys even knowing. This is where you fuse and create new gear. And lastly, you have the mothership, which is basically your dorm. So now it's time for some good old-fashioned off-banner 3000, shall we? So in this game, as you do summons, you do build up a currency. That currency acts as your pity. Once you hit 200, you can then just buy the character out of the shop. If you don't want to do that, your points are then transferred to the next banner, as far as I know. I'm pretty sure that's how it works, okay? But I'm sure somebody will fact check me in the comments. So let's go ahead and do a nice little summon session. We'll let the full summon animation play out. Like I said earlier in the video, wait a minute, are we out finally? I saw some gold in them there heels, baby. So like I said earlier, there is an infinite re-roll within like 2 minutes of installing this game. You can get a guaranteed 5-star on that one, and plus like up to like 4 or 5 purples. So go at it, have a good time. I decided to go for 1 5-star and 4 purples. Once again, the 5 stars guaranteed. Look at Korax. Dude, what an amazing design. I already have this character, but I love the character design here. Live 2D on all the characters. You love to see. I thought this was like a motorcycle, like a futuristic like motorcycle, but it's an axe. She's riding an axe. Okay, here is the golden character. Can we get out of this banner? No more off. The off banner continues, man. I mean, I'm not that mad. I'm not that mad, but I'm still kind of mad. Oh my God, dude, why? I have been so off banner lately. But as you guys can see, even the 3-star characters have fantastic art. Grace right here is a 3-star character who is top tier. So once again, it's gonna be one of those types of games where the skill kit and how you integrate those characters in your team lineup really decide who is top tier and who's not. Don't just solely focus on the highest rarity characters, because like I said, Grace, for example, is an extremely great character. Oh, Rui looks pretty awesome. Very cool. Like, this is like up my alley, dude. When it comes to art design, this futuristic fantasy mecha, I'm gonna do one more. Should I say I'm gonna save it for the other video. So to close out this video with my closing thoughts on Artery Gear Fusion, overall, I think this is a stellar title. Turn-based JRPG combat, that's my jam. Being able to create all of these interesting teams, elemental style combat, great graphics, really impactful abilities, screen-filling ultimates, pyrotechnics and particle effects. Like, I'm loving all of that. It seems like they looked at all the other gacha games on the market and kind of took a lot of the best features of those games and kind of rolled it up into one and improved it in other aspects. I think I'll eventually get over not having skip functionality and try to get myself into the world of, you know, trying to build the most efficient farming teams. And like I said earlier, that's a big part of the reason why a lot of people like games like Summoner's War. Like, building those efficient farming teams is a meta all itself. So I'm gonna try to lose myself in that world. I do think that some of the gameplay modes will eventually get really tedious, like that 100 floor thing. Like, I hope they do something a little bit different on that one, because that one might be a problem long term. But net overall, an extremely solid entry into the gacha gaming market and an absolute must play. My name is FG3000, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.